I know I haven't been around as much, and I just wanted to jump on and kind of tell you what's been going on over the last few months, why I haven't been filming as much, and what my plans are for the future of this channel. Hi friends, it's Jess with Our Bipolar. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, just a little bit about me. I have bipolar 1, and I was diagnosed 27 years ago when I was a sophomore in college. Today, like I said, I just want to be real with you all. Where do I start? Starting back in September, life started getting a bit harder. I was having a little trouble finding time to film and just honestly wanting to film because of what was going on. As you might know, Brian, my husband, he had this really major spinal cord tumor surgery back about a year ago, end of October in 2024. So we were coming up on a year of that. You know, the recovery time was rough. It was a full year to recover. And it's like, I mean, he's never going to fully recover. This surgery itself has set him really far back. And so that's been hard. It means, you know, we have to kind of live a little differently, and that's fine. I mean, I love him so much. He's a wonderful husband and father to our daughter Pearson, and we are more than willing to figure things out, but there's still the figuring out portion. So we've been adjusting, and we're still adjusting. And then in September, someone really close to me got a diagnosis, a mental health diagnosis. I am being purposely very vague to protect this person's privacy. Not everyone wants to be on YouTube. Not everyone wants their personal medical information shared with just anyone. Anyway, this person very close to me got this diagnosis, and that was hard. I mean, it also brought up feelings for me of when I got my bipolar diagnosis. I mean, it's not bipolar, it's a whole different thing, but it is a similar experience of then having to try out meds, be a guinea pig. I mean, you know how this is. A lot of you are diagnosed with bipolar and have other diagnoses as well. This person went through a time period of trying meds and meds not working and having side effects and, you know, really struggling. And it's hard when someone you love suffers. I think sometimes it's almost harder than when you suffer, because you're like, I can take it. I can like, I know it's silly, but it's like, I can handle it. But when it's someone else and you see them suffering, you might struggle with it even more. And I did. The great news is this person then went on to try different meds, and they did work. And it was amazing. The whole thing was just a lot. And so this has been going on all through the fall and right up until December. And then, you know, I was going through my bipolar bullshit, basically. So I don't know if it was because of this person, you know, struggling, watching my husband also struggling with his, you know, surgery complications, I guess you could say. And let me say that his surgeon was amazing, and there was nothing that could have been done differently to prevent these complications. I absolutely know that. He's just had so many surgeries on his spinal cord. But because of everything going on, I'm guessing, you know, all the extra stress, mostly, I was having bipolar symptoms. So I went into a depression, which I think I did a video about in the fall. I think that was in October. I went into depression, and then I started to go into hypomania after, which, you know, sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. And I got really bogged down by the Seroquel I was taking. You know, my doctor, he told me to up my Seroquel, which is an antipsychotic. And if you've ever taken Seroquel, you know that it can really give you some bad side effects. And I made a video about this too, I think, just talking about, you know, the tiredness, the sleepiness, the weight gain. That started happening for me because, you know, when I started going to hypomania, I wasn't getting as much sleep. I was waking up early every day, and I was starting to have like some racing thoughts and irritability because, of course, you know, I get the mixed hypomania. To prevent all that and to keep going and working and being a mom and all the things we do, you know, I upped the Seroquel to get better sleep and to get me out of hypomania. And I think my doctor and I should have taken me out of the Seroquel or lowered it back to my normal dose sooner. And I went through a period of a couple weeks where I had extreme sedation. I've never had that. I've taken Seroquel for at least 10 years. Then I was dealing with that, and then after that, you know, I had a work trip I did a video on where I went to DC, and if you all don't know, I am an assistant managing editor for scientific journals. That is my day job. And so I went to DC to our headquarters for a meeting with all the other managing editor types, and it was really great. And I went by myself, and sorry, I had to close the blinds. The lighting is different, the setup may be different. Anyway, like I said, I went to DC for that work trip, and it was good, but I was having a lot of trouble sleeping. I had all this trouble sleeping all the way up until Christmas, which was hard. I realized that I think it was my hypothyroidism, which, you know, all of us with bipolar, we usually have other health problems, and sometimes they cause problems for bipolar. So I was getting like a few hours less sleep a night. It was improving a little to like maybe 1 hour less, but it was not good. And I was really worried about going into mania again until I realized it was my thyroid, and I adjusted my dose of levothyroxine, which is what I take to supplement my thyroid because I don't have enough thyroid hormone. You guys may not care about any of this part of it, but anyway. So then there was Christmas. You know, we celebrate Christmas in my family. Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's, I host Christmas. And so all this is happening, plus like I'm a parent, so I'm trying to get everything ready for my daughter who's only 9, and you know how hectic the holidays can be. So I have been kind of purposely neglecting this channel, and I don't want to, but it was just becoming really hard for me to not only find time to film, but to think of video topics and to just do all the work that it involves, like all the editing and writing descriptions, like, you know, all the stuff, the promoting that I do on Instagram and Facebook. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it besides just this. And I really enjoy it. And what I love most of all is talking with all of you in the comments. So my idea for 2026 is to do more of that. Do more of interacting with the community here, because that's what I love. And I think that's what people need, especially people who have bipolar disorder. Like a lot of us, before I was on social media, I didn't know a single person who had bipolar. I didn't know one person who I could talk to about what was going on in my life with this illness. And it's so different from other illnesses. And once I got on like Instagram and even Facebook to an extent, I was finding those people. And now some of my closest friends are people who I have met through my phone, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. And so my idea is to start doing YouTube lives and be able to talk to all of you more often and like ask you questions, have you ask me questions, have guests on. And that's another thing. So I want to do solo lives, but I also want to have guests on, like my husband Brian or friends, whoever would want to do it. Really, I know my friend Steph, who she has her own channel on here called Bipolar Person. Go subscribe to her channel. She's been asking me for a while if I would do more lives with her, and I was like, I'm just not ready. Like, this was when I was in the thick of things in the fall, but I'm ready. So I want to start doing them. And at first I thought, like, I have to get to 10,000 subscribers first. I can't do them right now. Like, what if no one shows up? Or like, what if they fail? I'm over it. I want to start doing them. This is what I want to do. And I still want to do videos. I love doing the topical videos. I want to still do that. And I also want to go back to doing conversations with people that aren't necessarily live, because not everyone wants to do that. And I get it. They want editing. They want the ability to take something out that they said. And I have had people do that in past conversations with people, but I do want to do some videos like that where I have a friend on, or I have on someone who I don't know, who I think could really teach us something or just tell their story and we can relate to it. I want to start doing that again, because I used to do these kind of interview type videos, and then I stopped before Brian's surgery. It was just like becoming too much to schedule and like have to kind of rely on another person to film, and I couldn't just do it anytime I want to, like I'm doing right now. That is my plan for 2026 and moving forward with the channel. If you have any ideas for me, I would love to hear them. You know, I don't know what else I could be doing, but I'm sure there's a ton I could be doing. And it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just sometimes the ideas fail me, especially like if you have bipolar, you know, sometimes like the memory loss from medication can be big. I have trouble with that. I also have trouble with word recall. Sometimes just coming up with ideas for videos is hard for me, or wanting to make sure I'm knowledgeable enough on the topic, and that's where like these guests could come in and like bring their knowledge to us, and I love that idea. That's where I've been, that's where I want to go. I love all of you, I truly do. I'm so blessed to have this channel, have all of you to talk to. It's been one of the best things I've done for my illness, and just to feel normal, you know, because we are, but we get stuck thinking we're not, and that we're just like in this other category. But there's so many of us, and we can feel valued, and I value you. Sorry again, I've been absent. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.